Imagine you open YouTube and see this headline: Pope puts dead guy on trial. You'd think it was a skit, clickbait, maybe a weird animation, or maybe a dark reboot of Weekend at Bernie's, except instead of dancing with the corpse, they scream church law at it. Nope, it actually happened. Back in 897 AD, a living pope literally dug up a dead pope, dressed him in full papal robes, sat him on a throne, and then screamed legal charges at his corpse. This wasn't satire. This was the Cadaver Synod. And yes, it's just as insane as it sounds. So let's talk about how the biggest church in the world held a full courtroom trial for a rotting body. Let's start with the victim. Pope Formosus wasn't such a bad pope. In fact, he was good old kind of solid. But the thing about him is this: he was too smart, too influential, and too political in Europe. He had worked with kings, emperors, and angry bishops. He had been excommunicated once, meaning he got blocked by God. And then he came back and ended up being pope. But during his time, the church was in chaos. We're talking Game of Thrones level power grabs. Kings trying to install their own popes, noble families backstabbing each other, and Rome basically being a religious mafia turf war. Formosus struggled to keep up, playing at both sides, becoming friends, enduring. But humans do remember, especially his future adversary. So Pope Formosus dies in 896. Enter Pope Stephen VI. The guy inherits a mess, and instead of cleaning it up, he goes full villain mode. Stephen was backed by a noble family that hated Formosus. And when I say hated, I mean dig him up and scream at his skeleton levels of hate. He's only pope for a few months before saying, "You know what this church needs? A trial. A trial for a corpse." Nobody stops him. Not one person goes, "Hey, maybe this is too much." Stephen orders Formosus's body dug up. It had been buried for 9 months. They dress the corpse in full pope gear, robes, mitre, the whole look. They prop him up in a chair in a courtroom, and then they start the trial. Formosus was charged with crimes like serving as bishop in more than one place, big no-no, taking the papacy illegally, just like not being pope-worthy. They literally assigned a deacon to defend the corpse. Like, hey kid, you're new here, stand next to this rotting body and argue in Latin. So the courtroom has Stephen VI shouting at a skeleton. The skeleton says nothing, obviously. And the deacon sweats bullets trying to defend a pope who's now more bones than bishop. Shockingly, the corpse loses. Really? The punishment? Strip off the papal robes. Chop off the fingers used for blessings. Yeah, they did that. Toss his body into the Tiber River. This does not go over well. The people of Rome, who had been kind of chill about a lot of weird church stuff, collectively said, "What the hell?" Riots start. Nobles who backed Stephen back off. Public opinion tanks. And within a year, Stephen VI is in prison. And not long after that, he's strangled in his cell. This entire papal drama went from courtroom horror show to public revolt in record time. The next few popes go into full cleanup mode. First, they fish Formosus out of the river and give him a proper burial. Again. Then, they cancel the Cadaver Synod and say, "Yeah, that trial, let's pretend that didn't happen." They also make a new rule. No more corpse trials. Yes, that had to become official policy. One pope goes further and says, "If you even mention this again, you're a heretic." So basically, the Catholic Church went, "New phone, who dis?"
What was that? Who's that?
So you might ask, how we know that? Medieval monks wrote everything down. Trial records, letters, gossip. At first, some historians thought this was a dark joke, like, surely no one actually put a skeleton on trial? But it's real. Multiple sources. Church documents. Monks who were like, yeah, this was a bit much, even for us. Okay, if you're still here, thank you for watching. What have we learned? Don't mess with a pope, especially not one who might succeed you. The medieval church, kinda unhinged. And when power and pettiness mix, you get a zombie trial. So yeah, that time the church yelled at a skeleton, 100% real, and probably not even the weirdest thing that century? Thanks for watching. Drop a like if this blew your mind. Subscribe for more historical nonsense, and leave a comment with the weirdest history story you know.